What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. I'm LotusAsakura, the one who never knows best, bringing some more Dragon Ball FighterZ matches today, but I actually have something pretty special that I think you're all going to enjoy, and it's actually going to be a two-parter. And with that being said, if you do enjoy this video, you want to see part 2 to it, then I'm going to need to see like 3,000 likes on the video so y'all can go ahead and get that. But today I'm actually bringing you a set with none other than LordKnight himself, a very well-seasoned professional fighting game player who has placed well in several Dragon Ball FighterZ tournaments and many other fighting games over the course of the years, and he's actually the player who I've stolen a lot of my Trunks tech from, and is a big reason why I'm able to play the character at the level that I am, even though I still have a lot left to learn. But anyway, yeah, I figured a lot of you guys have been asking to have him on the channel again, so I would, and I wanted to do that anyway. But I also want to get him here today in order to pick his brain about Season 3 and get his perspective and his insight, because his is going to be different from mine in a lot of ways because he's a professional player. And even though I play the game a lot and I know a decent amount about it, we just come from two different fields and two different backgrounds. So I thought it'd be fun to have him on the channel today. So hopefully you guys enjoy. Anyway, how you doing, LordKnight? How you doing?
What's going on? You know, your boy's just out here.
So, I know one of the biggest changes that you're vocal about and that a lot of people disagree with you on is Snap, right? Now, being an Android 18 player, I definitely miss Snap. That's how I was, getting my mix-ups. That's one of the only ways I knew how to mix people up, because I'm trash at this game. But not only do I miss the mix-up, but I realized that like without Snap being in the game, I feel like I have a lot less control over matches. I feel like there's a lot more randomness for me to deal with, and like my ability to like mitigate certain situations and control the options my opponent has is like significantly weaker now that Snap is gone.
No, you're 100% correct. Like, they really don't like when offense is like that, like straight up. A lot of these strategies, like the old level 3s from back in the day, and like Snap, they constantly nerf. Like the way they tried to nerf Snap before was good, but like it wasn't enough. So the theme is always they're going to try to make sure that even if it's mad risky, just like an anime, right? Like even if it's mad risky, there's always an option for you to do stuff where it makes the game harder to play for sure, but it's just their design philosophy, you know?
It's funny too, because like they've continued to nerf offense over and over again in this game, and then you still have a very vocal group of people who think that defense is still too weak in DBFZ. And I talked about this in, I think, one of my most recent videos, and I disagree with that mindset. But at the same time, being someone who's closest to like the casual scene, I get where it comes from and I understand why people feel that way, because like when the game first came out, I kind of also felt like, yo, the offense is granted, offense was stronger back then, but like when the game came out, I was like, damn, bro, like how am I supposed to block in this game? Like everybody's like mixing me up and jumping all over the place. Like how do I block? But I think at this point, like most of the tools the game gives you actually serve as like a defensive mechanic. Like people don't understand that like you can use raw tag and super dash as defensive mechanics, so that to a degree even something like mashing is a defensive mechanic. So I personally don't believe that defense is too weak in the game, but what do you think?
No, defense is incredible. Anyone who says that is a cap star. Like the main issue always comes from you need to know how to use your defensive options. And another big thing is that people, you always hear people like saying, "Oh, you have to block so much, you get like jailed and stuff like that." This game doesn't really have passive defensive options. That's what I call them. So like when you're blocking stuff, you can literally do like some other games. People ask for like push block on a lot. This game has active defensive options, meaning like you can't be in block stun. So things like reflect, sparking, those things. So if in those cases, you have to know how to use them, because when you're wrong, you die. And that's what people are really bad at. And
I'm glad you brought that up, because in the video where I was talking about, my stance on defense in this game, a lot of the comments I was getting from people were things of the nature of like, I don't see how raw tag or super dash can be considered a defensive option when you can get 2H for it. And so it made me realize that there's this mindset that people have, and it seems fairly common just based off my own YouTube comments. I know it's only but such a limited sample size, but people seem to feel like if an option is risky or can be punished, and it's not good, or it shouldn't really be considered that great of an option, you know what I mean? But like I feel like that's how it should work. There's supposed to be a give and take. There's supposed to be a balance. Not like you shouldn't everything shouldn't be a get out of jail free card, which I think is what a lot of people want, which I feel like we kind of already have. Like you just have to know how to use it.
Exactly. The whole point is that you have to like make sure that you pick the right spot to use it to make it hard. And when used correctly, the stuff is really hard to deal with.
Yeah, I agree. Like bro.
Guard cancel probably the main one.
Yeah, I was gonna say guard cancel and raw tag, like they go unpunished a lot more than they should, because they're like, I mean, granted, like there are options, because again, some of the comments like people talk about how like, oh, I can die for using guard cancel or just raw tagging or super dashing. It's like, well,
I mean, they're not wrong, but
you're not wrong.
Raw
But
tag.
when you're right when you use it, it's a really good option for such a big trade-off. Like it should be risky because it's your get out of jail card.
Yeah, people will say all sorts of things like that about those mechanics, like raw tag especially, like people are like, oh my god, you could be punished for it. Meanwhile, all of you guys are doing it, so apparently it's not so bad that it totally discourages you from doing it.
Nah, facts. Like people say, well, you can get punished, but everyone's doing it anyway, as if it can't be punished. I would know. I'm a raw tagger myself. I'm quite familiar with the mechanic. And even something like sparking, like they literally, like sparking blast, most people, myself included, like originally looked at it as like a comeback mechanic, you know, comparing it to like X Factor or something. You get more damage, you get this health regen, like okay, it's a comeback mechanic, but they even implemented the ability to now where when you're blocking, you can use sparking as kind of like a combo breaker, like a get off me tool, like in the middle of somebody's block string, you can use it at any given time. And again, that's another get out of jail card that you now have access to. It's like, okay, you're burning that resource, but you can potentially stop yourself from dying by using it.
Yeah, that had to be done. Like season 1, there were so many little they wanted to make sure that people could use it and feel like they could get out, you know?
Right.
Whoops. Okay.
I think another thing that, see, it's crazy because, well, another thing I want to talk about is fuzzies, right? And the craziest thing to me about fuzzies in season 2 and 3 is that I felt like the majority of people who complained about fuzzies and said that they were broken or overpowered or needed to be removed from the game, which by the way, you got your wish, I hope you're happy, but I feel like the majority of people who were vocal about that were people who weren't fuzzing people and weren't getting fuzzied or didn't even play big body characters. Because I mean, I'm not gonna cap. I'm gonna just keep it 100. Like I feel like the majority of people who I got those comments from or saw talking about in my Twitch chat are people who are playing at a level of the game where I'm like, again, nobody knows how to fuzzy at your level. You're not getting fuzzy. Why are you so passionate about this? So it's just always really ironic to me.
Yeah, the fuzzy thing is a huge one, and people are really not trying to hear it. Like the real talk is, like a lot of people, they only want to do the stuff to you. They don't want the stuff to be done to them. And to be honest, none of you guys were fucking losing because of getting fuzzied. And you could actually play tall characters in season 2. You just hate getting hit, and you just want to hit the other guy. And
I mean, yeah,
a little frustrating.
It didn't stop Fenrich from playing Cell. It didn't stop, you know, the kill stage from playing Broly. So like, it could be done. You just had to be about the life. The universal fuzzy, I have a little bit more of a mixed feeling on, because like I don't know if it necessarily needed to go, but I don't go.
That was broken.
Yeah, I don't miss that one. I do miss being able to fuzzy the tall characters with Bardock, but universal fuzzy was kind of powerful, like way more powerful. But
yeah, it's super. It was super good. It's so good. I would not have told people about it if I found it.
You just would have showed up to a tournament doing that shit.
It's that good. Yeah, it's that good. I'm all about sharing tech and stuff, but that was a little bit too much. Oh, I didn't have this. It was really that good.
When did you first find out about it? Like, where did you first see it?
From Twitter. I had the idea before because of like the frame data was in the game, so like logically, when you look at like how the snap works and just do some math, like it's pretty logical that you could do something like that. It's actually really logical. Like it's pretty easy to get plus 20 in the old snap situation. And if you knew how fast, because every Arxis game I check to see how fast IED is, and it's even more important in this game.
Right.
So I was like, you should be able to do this, but for some reason I was always a little tight, or a little like short of doing it. So I gave up. It was like in February last year. I kind of gave up on it, but someone like figured it out.
Right. So let me ask you something. If let's pretend Universal Fuzzy never existed, right? If it wasn't for Universal Fuzzy, would you say that Snap needed to be nerfed?
Damn. No.
All right. Now with Universal Fuzzy in mind, would you say Snap needed to be nerfed or just remove the fuzzy?
I think it's probably more than enough to just remove it, to be honest. Like it was really like Universal Fuzzy is kind of broken. Like the thing about it is like it disproportionately benefits some characters more than others by like a lot, a lot. Specifically like the thing that people said, one of the things that used to piss me off about season 2 is like when people are like snap meta, when it doesn't win. Really nobody wins tournaments with snap.
I was gonna say the only person who really won with snap was Kazunoko. No one else. Because like Sonic and Goichi didn't win by snapping people to death. You know what I mean? Nobody
wins big tournaments with snap. It's another example of people just don't like getting hit. They only like doing like really strong strategies to their opponents.
Right.
They don't like it to be done to them. Now the actual end game maybe would have became that, you know, like my team in season 2 at the end where it's like snap until like, oh, you have to spark or I'm going to kill you off the next touch, off the snap. Right. That's like the actual, if people are winning with that, then I'd be like, oh, there's like a snap meta. But like nobody, trust me, nobody. If I won Frosty, then it would be like 4 tournaments that were won by
Nah,
snap.
I feel you.
There's only like 3
I
tournaments
think I heard you say something to the effect of like, bro, snap, if snap meta was a thing and it was really winning like that, I should have won way more tournaments.
I would win all the tournaments because I was running that to death. Like it helps make things more stable, but like it's not like, it's just you don't like you just don't like getting hit. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, it was not the end all be all of the game. Like it was obviously very powerful, but it's not like it wasn't yeah, like you said, it's not what was winning people all the major tournaments.
But they did a good job. Like it's hard to say. Like it would have been either you leave Fuzzies in as they were, but change the way Snap is, or take out Universal Fuzzy and like the stupid Piccolo Fuzzy and change. Yeah, take that out and leave Snap alone. It was one or the other.
See, I was always of the mindset that maybe Snap is a little strong, and I never really necessarily felt like it needed to be nerfed, but I always had ideas on like how I would nerf it, but none of those ideas was ever changing like the incoming time of like, you know, bringing a character in. Like that was not one that ever dawned on me, but that just like that didn't just
there
like,
were a bunch of people who were saying that.
Yeah, that
that's
didn't like
their
nerf.
Lazy way of changing
that
things.
didn't like nerf Snap. That just completely eliminated it, which is not like what I ever wanted. Because I felt like because as I've, you know, played the game more and more, I grew to enjoy mix-ups and snapping people and calling in medium 17 and getting you with a left right or hitting you with a 2 from the other side. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, I don't mind this being in the game, but maybe it could be toned down. Maybe they make it so that you can't do it as much, or maybe I don't know. But like I feel like they pretty much removed it from the game, which is not ever what I wanted to see happen. Because by this point, like in season 2, I'm like, okay, well you've nerfed like everyone's level 3s. We've taken out a lot of 50-50s already. So like I still want to have, you know, if I won neutral and brought you to the corner, like I feel like I should be rewarded with being able to mix you up somehow. But I guess not everybody agrees.
No, I mean, to be fair, it's like harder, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that there's still certain subs people have found with like Go Tanks or some other shit, but like it's a lot harder to cover for sure.
I mean, as far as Snap, you're kind of, I mean, I feel like you're kind of screwed. It's really, I've been messing around with stuff too, but like it's really, really, really hard. They made it so that it's really, really, really tough. They just don't want that kind of stuff in the game.
Yeah, they don't want the game to be oppressive.
Especially because like they keep doing it and people still say the games are really oppressive.
That's the crazy part, is that they keep taking stuff out or like making changes so the game doesn't feel oppressive, and so that it feels more inviting to like, you know, to more like beginner players or more casual players, and then they make these changes and people still aren't satisfied. Oh, speaking of some of the changes they made, like one that I never saw coming that I didn't think they would ever actually do, and I remember this had got brought up to me before, like as an idea in like Twitch chat and even on YouTube comments, and I was like, no, that sounds like a terrible idea. I was wrong. I was very, very wrong. I'll go ahead and admit that. If you're somebody who ever brought up this idea and I said it was stupid, then I apologize, but EX moves being half a bar, like that's a, oh my goodness, Broly, please, that's a really big game changer. I never thought that would be a change that would be added to the game, but I don't hate it, and I like the fact that they realized, okay, by making a lot of these moves half off, we got to tone some of these down. But I feel like even with some of them being toned down, you have certain moves like, oh, I don't know, Yamcha Wolfang and GT Goku 2368 that are kind of still, you know what I'm saying, pretty damn powerful, and now they're half a bar, and I just feel like some of them just weren't toned down quite enough to suit that change. I'm gonna go ahead and say that.
No, they actually did a pretty good job. Like, none of the, at least as far as I know, none of the moves that are EX moves jail into Vanish anymore. So, which is like pretty much all they needed to do to make sure
true.
it's like not super busted. And it helps out like a bunch of characters to, because there's like, I mean, people play Trunks, right? Like, before people just would not use EX Shining. There's like no reason to use EX Shining Slash at all for the most part. Now there's like way more reasons to use it. There's way more times you can use EX Flip. A lot of characters are benefited pretty positively from the change, so I think it's not bad.
Now, I feel like there are some characters who don't benefit that greatly from it, and those are some of like the biggest, I'd say, losers of season 3, right? Because like, I mean, but it could also just be me not being, you know, too familiar with those characters or like what they really get access to. But I feel like somebody like Videl or Goku Black really didn't get a whole lot from that change. Like you said, like Trunks or like Base Vegeta or Super Saiyan Blue Goku, like there are characters who benefit greatly. Yamcha, GT Goku, like they benefit greatly from half off. But I mean, like, okay, I can get sliding knockdown more often with Goku Black, I guess. Like, you know what I mean? Like, some characters kind of miss out, or like. Maybe you could touch on this one a little bit more because I've never played him, so I don't know. But like, even like Super Saiyan Goku, like how greatly does he benefit? Because I never see people use EX Tatsu, like almost ever. Well, granted, you don't really see Super Saiyan Goku that much anymore, but
no, you can move with it. You know, it gets you out. It's not like necessarily bad. It definitely supports some characters more than others. Like, that's undeniable. But that's just part of it. I feel like. I really do think it's a super good change. It's one of my favorite changes of this season.
Yeah, it's like I said before, to anyone who ever said that's a terrible idea, I apologize, because like I actually enjoy that change quite a bit. I don't know, it feels a lot, especially with the characters I play. I'm like, damn, I can do so much with this meter now. I feel like
you can do way more.
It gave me more of an incentive to spend my bar, because there'd be a lot of scenarios where like I wouldn't use the EX moves, and I'm like, it didn't seem worth it. But like for half a bar, it's crazy, because now I feel like I go too crazy, especially when I'm playing a character like Base Vegeta. I mean, if y'all watch the channel, y'all know I'm no stranger to abusing EX Rocket Kick. But yeah, now I just go crazy with it. I'm like, bro, it's half a bar. Why would I not do it?
Exactly. Especially if you use it in the right spot. That's definitely one of the best changes in my opinion. One of my least favorite ones is probably Limit Break. Well,
yes, Limit Break. I am also not a fan of Limit Break. See, the thing with Limit Break is that I feel like it was just unnecessary, because the whole point of Limit Break, like, that's literally just an additional comeback mechanic. And like I said before, we kind of already, granted, a lot of people using Sparking defensively nowadays are just as a means of keeping the team alive, but I can't believe you blocked that. I felt like we didn't need an additional comeback mechanic. I don't like the idea of being rewarded so heavily for losing. I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna say like it doesn't help me, because I guess it helps anybody. But as somebody who was already making plenty of comebacks in this game, without it, I just felt like it was completely unnecessary.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they want to make sure you stay in the game. They really want to make sure you stay in the game. That's like the biggest thing for them. With Limit Break, then you get like 2 Sparkings basically.
Yeah, because you get like the same. The damage buff is the same, right? It's 20%.
It's 20%, but it like stacks. So like, but it stacks a little bit. So it stacks to 30%, I believe. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. So the Limit Break will be 10%, and the Sparking will be 20. But it makes it, on the one hand, it's good because it does like cement certain characters for their roles in a better way. But on the other hand, like, it's like you get yet another, like, the thing that like just is kind of annoying about the game from a fighting game player's perspective. If you never played a fighting game, this makes sense to you. Like,